All right. I think we are live. I hope it says that we are.
Looks like it.
Um, it looks like it. All right. So, hello out there in YouTube land. Welcome to our very first webinar. This is very exciting. We are GEG South Carolina. We are kind of brand new. This is our very first one. So, I'm sure there'll be technical issues. That's why it's 4:05 and we're just getting started. I got kicked out and had to get back in. But we are very, very excited. So make sure you follow us on Twitter if you haven't followed us, and make sure that you follow Pam as well. And speaking of Pam, our special guest is Pam Hubler, who will be showing us Wakelet, which is a fantastic, cool new tool, right?
Yes, and I use it all the time, so I figured it would be a good place to start.
Well, good. Everybody who's watching, make sure you leave a comment. I see a lot of people leaving comments right now. So make sure you put in the comment. Actually, before we start, let's have everybody, if you're on Twitter, put your Twitter handle in the chat so we can kind of get to know who's out there. And then also let us know where you're from. Of course, we are GEG South Carolina, so we are in South Carolina, but let us know where you're at. I see a lot of Angela Drake. Hey there. Ryan says hi. Ryan is also asking where everybody is from too.
It's funny when I see pictures, I wonder if they're the same as their Twitter pictures, because that's how I know people.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Like Emily, my PD for you and me friend.
And does anybody else have the problem? And you and I have talked because you follow, have you seen them on Twitter, and so you feel like you've already been like, then you where you have met them. Like, did I meet you in person? Did I not meet you in person?
You're breaking up a little bit, so I'm not sure if they can hear you, but I got the idea of what you're saying as far as feeling like you know people once you actually chat with them on Twitter. There's a lot of people that I can see. Oh, yeah. I even got, local in Hughie, South Carolina. That's right by me. And that's how you pronounce it. It is not Hugger. It is Hughie, just so you know. All right, you know what? Since we are still live, I don't know if y'all can hear me, so I'm just going to share my screen since I'm not sure if y'all can hear Jared or not. So we'll just keep on going. Can you guys hear me okay? Somebody comment if you can hear me, and I'll just go with it. Okay. All right, I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to share my screen so I can show you a little bit about Wakelet. Let me share my screen. This is a new platform for us too, so. All right. Okay, I'm flipping over to Wakelet, and I'm flipping back to make sure you guys could see that. Could you guys see that? All right, cool. Okay, I'm just going to keep on going. So hopefully we're good. Okay, so Wakelet. What it is, I like to think of it as kind of like Pinterest with more of a linear format where you can save your information and you can archive things, you can curate information, you can use it in the classroom for maybe a lesson plan template, especially right now being in our e-learning situation. That's one of the ways I suggested for teachers to be able to kind of give a lesson plan format. And I have that in my Wakelet collection that I will show you. And I believe Jared had shared this Wakelet collection right here called A Wakelet About a Wakelet in the notes. So I'll just go through this just so that way you can kind of get an idea of what things you can do with Wakelet. And I can also use this as an example as to how to add things to it. So let me just click back here. Okay, does anybody, okay, I can see, Emily, you said yes, you can see. All right, I'm going to flip over to Wakelet. All right, when you go to wakelet.com, just so you know, you'll create an account and you can create collections. You can just save bookmarks just like you would if you had a shortcut. You can be a part of group collections. So if somebody else wanted to create anything, you might be a part of that as well or save it. But I'm going to click on my name just so if you were following me on Wakelet, which the website is just wakelet.com and then /@specialtechie. So you can see all of my collections I have here. They're on the left-hand side also. I've got one for our PD for You and Me chat on Saturdays with me, Emily, and Teresa. And so that's where I archive all of our chats. I have some other resources that I save. I do a potty PD where it's basically I do a visual in the restrooms at school. And then I have a Wakelet that is basically the online version of it. So I save those. Just some general resources. I'm an instructional coach. I didn't mention that. I'm an instructional coach in Charleston, South Carolina. Just a bunch of different resources. School resources. I do my newsletter for the school this way. Lots of ways you can use this. Twitter chats. So lots of different ways. So I'm going to go ahead and go through my Wakelet about Wakelet, just so you can see what resources. And I think I can copy this. Let me add this to the chat if I can. Oh, darn, I can't add to the chat. All right, well, I can't add to the chat, but let me go back to this.
Okay. What do you need to add to the chat?
I was just going to add the Wakelet link, just so that way if anyone that's in there,
the link is in the description of the video.
Okay, so they can see that easily. All right, cool.
Yeah, so right below the video, the link is right there.
Okay, awesome. Okay, well, so I went with it because I wasn't sure where you were, so I just went with it.
Yeah, I got kicked out, so my bad.
That's okay. At least we can still keep going even if you get kicked out. Okay, right. So I'm going to flip back over to Wakelet. And just so you can see some of the things I have. This one, I call it Wakelet about Wakelet because whenever somebody asks me, I share this so that they can kind of explore it. We've got a great visual right here for that Tony Vincent did. How to save, organize, share links and media into collections in Wakelet. He's got all these great visuals. And if you click on that link, it'll go right to his post. There's a Wakelet ebook that you can check out. There's a few Wakelet for educators. This one, a how-to guide for the skeptical educator. There are some tweets in here. And then since we were talking about how to use it in the classroom, I do want to show you this template. This is an e-learning lesson plan template. And I shared this with my teachers as soon as we knew we were going to be out for a little while. And we had to have like 2 weeks of lesson plans kind of ready to go just in case, because we didn't know how long we'd be out. So I shared this with them as a way to get it out. So basically you have like day one, and then this one was a template for a choice board. So that way the kids could just know, okay, on day one, this is what I'm working on. I click on that and I can do whatever it says. And then day two, and then they could just add underneath each day. So it's just one way to organize it as far as so people know, oh, okay, this is what I have to do today without having to send a lot of information or adding things to Google Classroom and them getting confused. So that's there. And I also have, let's see if it's up here. I have the template on there. Oh, that's what it is. In this, I have right here, this is actually a Google Slides template that has the day one, day two, so you can change it however you want. And then this choice board right here, that's also a template that teachers can use. And then this is just a little image that I have here that kind of shows the different types of things that you can add to Wakelet. But I can go through that actually live. And another good thing about when you add things to a Wakelet, if I click on this, you can see it's the only thing in the window. If I had a video, like a YouTube video, it's the only thing in the window. It doesn't take you to YouTube. It keeps it there. So it's kind of a nice, safe way and a less distracting way to use YouTube with students. So, and let me go ahead and see what else I have in here. Sorry if I'm, okay, here's another one. A little image. Who created this one? Oh, this is from Laura Steinbrink. You probably know her through Twitter if you are a Twitter user. Ways to use Wakelet. And she's got all these great little visuals, student blogs, newsletters, digital portfolios, hyperdocs, so kind of like that lesson plan format. You've got PD sessions. There's tons of things. Subplans, I have seen this before also, where it'll say day 1, and then you can put whatever it is that you want the sub to do. You have one link to share with them, and they know exactly what to do each day. Let me make sure. We still good? Oh, did we lose them again? Oh. Can you see my...
Nope, I'm still here.
Okay, you can see my screen though, right? There. I wonder if they can't see your screen, my screen, when you're not in it.
Oh, there we go.
All right. Okay, I'll go back.
Now they see your screen.
You do have the link though, so I hope that wasn't too bad. Okay, I'll flip back. These are just some more resources, curation ideas, and even dimensions for images in it. But let me just go ahead and I'm going to edit my collection just so you can see the types of things I can add. Okay, I'll be good. Flip back. What happened? This is what happens when you try technology for the first time, right? All right, well, I'm assuming you can still see my screen. All right, and let's just keep on going. Okay, so if I click the little plus, I can see I can paste a URL. I can add text. I can add a YouTube video. I can add tweets. I can add a bookmark if it's already saved, image, PDF, something from my drive, OneDrive, and you can even add a Flipgrid video. And this is nice because I'm just going to click on it. You don't even have to get out of this Wakelet in order to do it. So I already have an account, so I'm just going to click yes. Just so you can see how easy it is. Okay, I'm going to continue as me. I allow it. And then I can just record my Flipgrid video and it'll stay right there at the top. So if you wanted to introduce something, you can do that and it would show up for your students or even for professional development. So it's kind of a cool thing. Let's see. Let me click back. Okay, you can still see me? All right. I'll keep going. All right. And then one of the really neat things about Wakelet is its Immersive Reader is actually a part of it. And I'll click on one that has text. So that way you can see how it has this little image right here. That means if I click on it, it will read it. So if you have students or honestly anybody, sometimes if you want to just listen to it, it's helpful. So I'm just going to click this. It opens it up in Immersive Reader. And then if I click play.
Lesson plan template * change this box.
It does say the punctuation. You can do text preferences. You can do grammar options, reading preferences, even language. You can even change the language. So that's really helpful, especially with our students that have disabilities, or really just if you do better listening to the directions. Okay, so I'll go back to this. And let's see. I can add text here where I would just type the information in there. You can see all the different things that are there. But I'm also going to show you that you can make this public if you want to share it with anybody. You can make it unlisted so people can't find it, but you could still share a link, or you could just make it private for yourself. If you wanted to plan a professional development and you just kind of getting ideas together, you can use it this way in private and just make it public when you're ready. A couple different ways to do that. And I save that. I can make it where if I enable copy, that means anybody can make a copy of it. If I want you to be able to add to it yourself, you can do that. I can change the background. And the great thing is that the backgrounds, you can actually choose from a library. And it's from Unsplash. So they're great, great visuals. So if I want to look for just maybe a wave, I can see lots of different options there. I click the wave and it changes the background. Or you can add your own. So I'm just going to save that. And okay. Yeah, there's so many things you can add to this. It's awesome. Okay, let me flip back. And if I wanted to add, sorry if I'm clicking back and forth. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the Wakelet resources. Let me go ahead and share it. If I click share, I can share with a QR code. I can add it right to Facebook, Twitter, add it directly to Google Classroom, Remind. I think that's Microsoft Teams, and I'm honestly not sure which one that is. But so you can share it to lots of places or just copy the link. You can embed it. So if you have a website, you can actually embed it right into your website. You can export it as a PDF. This notify, that just means if you have like anybody on Twitter that you have tagged in it, that's how I share out our PD for You and Me chats. So I think I do have one Twitter comment on here. I'm notifying on Twitter anybody that's linked in here. It will look for their names. Okay, that's not being very fast, so I'm going to stop that. All right, let's see. Anyone want to see anything in particular? Or any ideas of how they use it or want to use it? I hate not being able to hear. All right, well, I still see it counting, so I'm going to keep on going. All right, I'm going to start from scratch. I created an account. I could pretend there's nothing here. I'm just going to create a new collection. I can call it, let's say, Summer Ideas. Okay, I'm going to add a cover. And I'm going to just choose from the library. Summer. This looks good to me just because that's where I wouldn't mind being right now. I'm going to change it to half cover just so it doesn't take up as much space. I can change the background. I'll choose from the library again because they're great visuals. Let's do beach this time. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add text. And just so you can see how the text works. Ideas for summer. I can change it to heading. I can do bold. I can do bullets. I can change it to be centered. There's lots of things, and you can also link. So I'm just going to click done. Okay, and then I could just click on the next one, and I can choose whatever I want from here. I can add things from my drive. I can choose images that I already have, or I can just copy a link. Let's see. And I can also make this. I'm going to make it public, but I'm also going to, let me just click done here. I have this started. One of the cool things about Wakelet is that you can actually make it where you have contributors. So if I want to invite contributors, I can just copy the link. I can just do it by name and email. So if I could access the chat, I could just copy this link and I could actually paste it into the chat, and then you guys could add your own information to a Wakelet. So your kids could actually You could have a whole list for summer ideas for the class. All right. Front, the computer versus cell phone. Okay, actually the one of the questions is from the computer and cell phone. It does look a little bit different, but the basically you can add everything the same way. And I know they're working on that because I even had, I was looking at it. I have an Android phone. And so I was able to, you know, kind of give them as far as what I could see, what I couldn't see. You can move things around. There's lots of different ways. But so it really does work the same on a phone. I like it better on a computer just because it's a little bigger and it's a little bit easier to copy from one tab to another. So that one is a little bit easier. I wish I could show you on my phone, but I can't since I'm on my computer. Let's see. All right, let me go back to, okay, let's say, I'm just going to search for, let's say, I'm just going to look for, okay, any of the Casey Bell resources are my go-to, so I'm just going to go there. All right, so let's say I find a link that I want to save. And right now, okay, Google Classroom cleanup tips. That's perfect. I'm just going to copy this link.
Here is information from Community Health Network.
I said the wrong word and my phone started asking me questions. Okay, and I'm going to just paste it. I'm going to edit my collection. And I am going to, right here, paste URL. Paste it. The image from the site shows up and the text. But if I have something that, let's say, doesn't, like if I have, this is like my lesson plan template. I'm going to copy this. Oops. Obviously, these are not summer ideas, but I'm just showing you. I'm going to paste that there. All right, and you can see it just says lesson plan, days, Google Slides, but it doesn't really have a lot of information. So I can go ahead and say Google Slide template to copy and edit the image. If I don't have an image already, I can choose from the library. Let's just say computer. All right, I'll just use this. So it just adds a picture. Or if I did have a screenshot of it, which I did take one, I'm going to upload an image. And let's do lesson days. It shows me what it looks like. Click save, and then it has a picture. And then I click done. And I can just keep on going. I can add as much as I need to. And then once I'm done, I just click done. And then I can share the link in all those different ways. Any of these, or just copy the link. So that way I can share it on any of the social media platforms or Google Classroom or anything like that. All right, let me go back. All right, do you get to write a narrative about why? All right, so the question was, do you get to write a narrative about why you're curating the link, or should you add text yourself? I do. Oh, that was interesting. If you, oh, there you are.
I swear, I don't know what's happening. I have never had these issues before.
Maybe a lot of people are using the internet right now. Okay, so I was just answering the question as far as like writing a narrative about like as far as writing your while you're curating. Sometimes I will put text at the top as far as what the purpose is. So, and I can show you like I'll do one of my Potty PD. Let's see. I'll go to one of the Potty PD ones. Okay, so like the last one I did was this one. And Makerspace was our focus. So I just have my title in there. I've got some images, some links for them to check out. Sometimes I have my own resources in there. And you can just see some of the images. We had a professional development. tech tools. So you can see I just added some resources, and it's anything that was in the visual that was in the restroom. And let me see if there's another one.
Yeah, Angela asked, will a Google slide presentation also show directly in the Wakelet, or does it take you to the Google slide location?
It will take you to it. Let me go to, because I added that lesson plan. Actually, let me see. Yeah, so let me copy this and I'll paste it in there. That way I can see it. And it should show up just as a link, kind of like this one right here. That one I think was a template. Let me just make sure. Okay, yeah. So now if I click done, I will show a video though, because if I click this and it will open a new tab, just as, you know, a regular presentation. So let me close that. But if I wanted to add a YouTube video, so actually since I'm here, I'm just going to go right to hers. Okay, and here's a video. I'm just going to copy link address here. And I just have to edit my collection. I'll add it right here. Doesn't matter where you add it. And even though it says paste URL YouTube, I could just do it from YouTube, or I could paste it from where I just got it. But it will show up as, give it a second. Okay, so it shows up like this, and I'm just going to click done so it's saved. And it does auto save, which is kind of nice. That's a new feature. So now if I click this, it will open in another, like it opens another page, but you can see it's not super distracting. Like it doesn't show anything else, and I can just go back to my Wakelet, and there it is. So it doesn't play in it really. It kind of opens another window. But it's nice because then it doesn't show the stream that you're like, oh, what's that? All right. Any other questions? Let's see, presentation. I couldn't show we were talking about the difference between the cell phone and the computer. I couldn't really show that, but it is very similar. So you can edit the same ones. I can use it for my phone or computer. I just prefer the computer.
Okay. Now, have you gone after the Wakelet ambassador, or have you talked about that?
Yeah, well, and it's I am a Wakelet ambassador, and actually here, let me stop sharing my screen for now, so you're not looking at multiple screens. Yeah, I am a Wakelet ambassador, and it's just one of those things because I hopped on board early, and then just kind of started playing with it, using it in the classroom. And so it is something that you can definitely do. And I think I do have that resource as far as like if you're interested in that Wakelet about Wakelet. So that is in there. And like the PDF that's in there, there's tons of information already curated if people are really curious, but it's so easy to use that all you have to do, create an account, click the plus, and just start. I mean, it's not much different than if you were just creating a Pinterest board or something. I just feel like it's a little bit more, has a little bit more of a structure to it. And you can use it for so many different ways, for kids, for adults. I use it for professional development. Like when I do a session, instead of trying to share my presentation, I'll share the Wakelet link. And then just as people ask questions during the presentation, I can just add it to the bottom of the Wakelet, and they have it all in one place. Including the presentation. So it's just an easy way for, just kind of put everything together. Is there a way, shortcut to add a screencast of a video directly into Wakelet?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Yes. And I want to say, I honestly thought that there was, let me click, I'm going to look and I'll share my screen if I find it. There's Flipgrid. Otherwise, you can add a video. A lot of the times I feel like that was there. I have to find out. I'll check on that because I feel like that was one of the newer combinations as far as, because Flipgrid's on there now. I feel like Screencastify was also that way, but because it links to your drive, you could easily, since when you do Screencastify, it saves in your drive, you can find those Screencastify videos in your drive automatically and link it that way.
And have you heard how anybody has used it with distance learning?
Yeah, a lot of people are using it kind of like a hyperdoc, or like I shared a little while ago, I've got my day 1 and then my day 2, day 3, where I shared that with the teachers, where they can just put, okay, day 1, they want you to do this, this, and this. And so they just click on it, and then day 2, and just kind of go through it. Or you can put the date. It doesn't really matter how you organize it. It's just a nice linear format. So yeah, and otherwise the hybrid people can actually, like the kids, like I was saying, you can have a collaborative Wakelet collection. So kids can actually add links to it. So if they make a Wakelet, then they kind of have that, or for student portfolios. I mean, there's tons of different ways that you can use it. Since there's so many options for linking, you can you can do so much with it. And then what I also like is adding Wakelets into a website. So actually, I'll share my screen one more time, because I do on my blog. I actually do have. Right, let me see. I think I shared it. Yep, there it goes. All right. Didn't do that. I'm going to go to my blog, which is just spedtechgeek.com. And I actually have Wakelet collections here. So that way I can get right to them. So here's like our PD for you and me, Twitter chats. And here's one of the 1920 potty PDs. So I have them right there. So you can link them right into it, and then you can check them out from there. And if I wanted to click visit, it goes right to the actual site that I have linked there. So and I have 3 side by side, but you can just do them individually. So that way they're bigger and it's a little bit easier. And then I do have another Wakelet. Let me find that. All right.
So many good ideas with Wakelet here.
There's tons, and I'm not like the only person, obviously, that not an expert, but I use it for a lot of things like this. I was using like sketchnoting for kids, and I made a collection, a sketchnoting Wakelet collection, so that way I can share it in the classroom. So it's almost like this was kind of like my lesson plan structure. I went through everything. And had little images. I had a video in there so that way I could show them another video, some pictures. So, and then as kids ask questions, I said, I'll add it there. There are other examples, like these are examples that kids did. So I added them. And then the kids, all they had to do is to go back to that website, which that's all it is. The Wakelet collection is like a little link. And then they can see kind of what their friends have done or other classrooms. So these are all from other ones. They were super excited to know that I took pictures when I was in the classroom and then shared it on Twitter. So I added my tweet in there so that way they can see it. And then kind of gave them like a next thing. Now try it yourself. Gave them a little video, a little next time. So there's lots of things that you can do there. That was one of the Wakelets. And then let's see. There's a Wakelet collection. This one is actually creating a virtual classroom. And that was a Wakelet that somebody created. Just so that way it was easy to get that information out. You can watch the video right on there. Example.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't tried that yet, definitely give that a try. That virtual classroom thing, it is too cool.
It is.
I had a teacher the other day that tried it for the last week of school, and it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, so I mean, it's lots of different ways they have that. And you can see this on my blog if you want to get to that link. I have a virtual classroom template too that I made. So lots of different things that you could do. This was an ed camp that we did. This isn't actually, I don't have a Wakelet collection on that one. So I'll close that. Yeah. So let's see, any other questions? It's so easy to explore. Like I can't do it justice in a short amount of time, just, checking it out. But it's a free account, so it doesn't cost you anything. I usually just use my Google login, so that way I don't have to worry about the password. And it ties to my Google Drive. So, and Flipgrid, or if you're Microsoft, it does look like it goes to OneDrive as well now. So they share well with others. So.
Well, anybody in the chat, anybody that has used it, and how have you used it? Or if you've never used it before, how do you plan on using it going forward? So if anybody wants to put that in the chat there. Because now I got some ideas. The bathroom tech tips. See, I waste a lot of time printing them and then taping them in every bathroom stall. But
yeah, and the good thing is like I put my since I have a collection of all of them in one. I just leave that at the bottom of my email for the year. So it's just like my 1920 potty PD. So they could just they can just link on it whenever they want. And the visual I make for the restroom is the top is the same. So that way, because usually they'll remember like, oh, wait, it was the one that had this at the top, or it was the Makerspace one. So they can usually tell by the visual which one they wanted to look at. And I have a giveaway on that too, just to get people to, read it more.
That's a good idea. Let's see. Ryan says that there is a Chrome extension.
Yes, and there is a Wakelet extension. Yes, so that way you can save to Wakelet really easily, and I do use that a lot. So if I'm on a website, I'm like, oh, I know I need to add this to my EDU coach one because I want to go back to it later. And instead of adding an actual bookmark in Chrome, because I have tons of them, it kind of can organize it a little bit better. So there is a Wakelet extension. So you could just do the Chrome Web Store and look for Wakelet, and you will find that.
Let's see. Angela says that she's excited about beginning a collection and playing around.
Yeah.
But these tools offer so many options. It's so true.
Yeah. I mean, and you can keep it private for now. Just play with it and see how it works for you. And I always change how I save things, like as far as, I don't know, it might be something to share for other people. But, it's all in one place, which is kind of nice.
Let's see. And Teaching with Miss T says that she's pretty much used it for personal preference to save a ton of cool things. That's what I've used it for. Mm-hmm. I haven't published anything with it, but I have saved a lot of things to it. I like to figure out how to really use it for my students and to train other teachers.
Yeah. And it's nice. I mean, you can even have, let's say you're about to do a science unit and you have a bunch of different resources that you kind of want them to have to explore. You can just kind of add things there and just, put it in Google Classroom or really wherever you share your resources. I keep saying Google and my phone. I'm trying to stop.
Yep,
stop
mine does that too.
Yeah. And then as far as training teachers, in that Wakelet for Wakelet collection, there are some things in there that will really help, that if you watch that, you can kind of share with your teachers like, hey, here are some ideas. So if you are a coach or really just a teacher in the building that just, hey, I want to use this. It's kind of there's so many things you can do with it that once you start brainstorming, it's usually like you just keep on going. And I'll create visuals for the top too. Like you saw at the top of mine, I have like a quote. So, and on the collection I shared, it does have like what size the images are. So that way, if you did want to create something in Google Drawings or Google Slides or whatever you use to create visuals, or Canvas, Canva, sorry, I use them both so much. I always say both of them at the same time. Canva, if you want to do it in Canva, as long as you know the size, it'll work perfect at the top. So, or the individual, like if you're sharing Google Slides. So.
Angela says that she will save the list and out to EdTech tools to share with fellow educators.
Yeah, and actually there was a like our district was already going towards e-learning before this all happened, so it was a good year to start. And so they kind of they were sharing so many resources. I'm like, oh my gosh, like our teachers were freaking out with the number of emails they had. So it was just easy to I just started a collection of all of our e-learning resources for our district. So it was kind of like one place, like here, check here. It's probably going to be here if you need it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, does anybody else have any questions? We don't want to take up everybody's time here.
Yeah, and I see there's a Microsoft district, which is fine. You can use OneDrive, so if you have things saved in there, you can use that. And Flipgrid, YouTube, so it doesn't really matter where your links come from. So it's, like I said, they share well with others.
And really, they should be. Everybody should be sharing well with others.
Right. I agree.
Not always the case. Google versus Microsoft versus Apple, but
right. I do have a hard time. I love my Google stuff. So when people are like, try this in Microsoft, I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready.
That's right.
But I won't hate on it though, because everything has something good in it. All right, that's basically it though. Now it's just a matter of exploring really to see what works for you and in your building or just for yourself.
Yep. If you have any questions, this is Pam's Twitter handle. So definitely reach out to her for her expertise in it. And hopefully this will be a continuing series that we will continue to do as GEG South Carolina. So make sure you follow us and stay tuned to other events that we have coming up.
Yeah, and if you want to look, if you do hashtag Wakelet Wave on Twitter, probably Instagram also, then you can kind of see who else is chatting about Wakelet. And you can also follow them at Wakelet. And in the collection I shared, I did add the Wakelet community that you can kind of explore what they already have, their newsletters, all that stuff. So cool. And thank you, Angela and Ryan. And I recognize some of the images, some of the icons.
Well, good. Well, thank you everybody for attending our first live webinar. Sorry for any weird technical difficulties, but I think this was great. What do you think, Pam?
Yeah, I think it's okay. Now I'll have to watch it though, because when you share your screen, you don't know what's going on. So hopefully we're okay. Yeah, and I see.
Well, take care, everybody. Thank you for attending.
Yes, thank you. Bye, everyone.